Indian National Congress declared that day as Purna Swaraj Divas, meaning Independence Day. So that is how this day has been chosen, to have our constitution in place. We all know the Indian historic moment, Indian Independence Act of 1947, an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom that divided the British India into two parts, Pakistan and India. And we became independent on 15th August 1947. But that was still under a constitutional monarchy of the United Kingdom with King George VI as the head of the monarchy and Sir Earl Mountbatten as the Governor General of India. So we didn't have our own constitution and our own laws to rule the country. And that is how we were, although we had the independence in 1947, we were still under a kind of colonial government of India Act of 1935. And when people realize the importance of having a constitution and a law of our own, then a drafting committee was constituted that was headed by none other than late Dr. Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar as the chairman of that committee. And also we all should feel proud from the undivided South Canara district, a person who was born in this South Canara district, undivided South Canara district, Benegal Narsim Rao, who was also a member of this committee, a draft committee of the Indian Constitution. So that committee took about 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to adopt the draft what they prepared as our constitution. And I must quote here what our constitution has given us, and from the words of Dr. Ambedkar, the most influential persons in the world in the 20th century, Dr. Ambedkar, who had once famously said that if I find the constitution being misused, I shall be the first one to burn it. So that was the statement he made. And a man who gave this constitution and also made every Indian to feel independent and to express their rights. And India was declared on this day as the sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and the constitution, the Republic India, assured every citizen justice, equality and liberty. And that also gives the fundamental rights to the people and also the freedom of speech. And it played a significant role in the lives of every Indian citizen because you got the power to elect our own representatives to run the democracy. And we were finally freed from the trailing clutches of the British rule. So, the young students should know this important day of India. That is why worldwide this day is celebrated very significantly in every country. Every Indian missions or embassies or consulates, they celebrate in a big way. And to have all this, what we are today, to have, to fight for our justice, equality, liberty, freedom of speech, fundamental rights and all that, it is all because of the struggle of our great leaders, the freedom fighters, and we should remember all those who struggled for this, starting from the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and they have sacrificed their lives to earn independence for all of us. And on this day, 26th January 1950, Dr. Rajendra Prasad took oath as the first President of India, and the Governor General Mountbatten handed over that charge. And I would like to quote some great quotes from our freedom fighters. Give me blood, I will give you freedom. This is what Subhash Chandra Bose said. And in the words of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, patriotism is religion and religion is love for India. And we should love our country. Sarojini Naidu said, a country's greatness lies in its undying ideals of love and sacrifice that inspires the mothers of the race. Bhagat Singh told, the sanctity of law can be maintained only so as long as it is the expression of the will of the people. That is how our constitution has given this. Lala Lajpat Rai said beautiful words, the shots that hit me are the last nails to the coffin of British rule in India. Similarly, Bal Gangadhar Tilak said, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it, and we have it today. Sardar Patel, the Iron Man of India, said, every Indian should now forget that he is a Rajput, a Sikh or a Jat. He must remember that he is an Indian. This is what even our chief guest told today. If yet your blood does not rage, then it is water that flows in your veins. For what is the flesh of youth if it is not of service to the motherland? And that is what we see in our chief guest. In spite of the rich, the sophistication, all that he had, he rendered his service to the motherland as a brave soldier, officer, and who served for 2 presidents as the military secretary, that is the highest, who deals with the ceremonial events and the visits of the Rashtrapati and everything. And the civil servants will only deal with the paper works or the files coming from the Prime Minister's office. And if you look at the words of Jawaharlal Nehru, long years ago we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. And lastly, Lal Bahadur Shastri said, "We believe in peace and peaceful development, not only for ourselves but for people all over the world." So this is how we should remember all those who struggled to get us the freedom and the real independence. And now we see India as a power, a knowledge power, superpower in the world. We have so much of talent, so much of potential, and the whole world is looking at India at its fast growth. And I was looking at a picture, Narendra Modi, surrounded by very big businessmen from all over the world. The way they were standing, waiting for Modi's arrival, that is a testimony to our economy and our power as a powerful nation in the world. India has now transformed from a conventional country after the independence to a corporate country. And we see lots of Indian companies making us feel proud, maybe Reliance or Adani in the present scenario, and even the other big companies like Tata's and Mittal Steel. And all these, and even Infosys or Wipro, these are all now the global players who have made our country great in the eyes of the globe or the world. And country is progressing at a fast pace. All that is possible because we have the freedom, the fundamental rights, the freedom of expression, the liberty, equality. If these things were not to be there, then we can never feel that we are a big power before all other superpowers in the world. So, a transformation from public sector to the private sector and attracting the foreign direct investments in India in a big way and empowering the people and in particular the women as a major role in India to build a very strong nation. And all said and done, we should not forget our past history, how the country was, undivided India was some 3,000, 4,000 years ago, even during the Vedic period, and even when the oldest universities in the world were started in India, Nalanda and Takshashila, how the foreigners used to rush to India to study, to get knowledge, and how the foreign wealth flew to India those days in the earlier times. All that is a big testimony for the glory of the ancient India. And it is all because of a strong cultural background what India had. And what I want for the students and for the young generation is that we should know the history of our country. We should know the past glory of the country. And we should know the culture of the ancient India. And we are growing to the corporate India, but we should not lose our history. We should not lose our culture. This is what we need. And we can make India very strong, whether it is defense or agriculture. You know, during 1940s and 50s, we had to depend on food grains coming from other developed countries like US to feed our stomachs. But today, we are able to give food to several countries in the world. And in the words of our chief guest, what we had during 1948, we didn't have our strong army. Even in 1961-62, when India fought war with China, we didn't have our army, the concept of modern army. But today, India has a very strong defense line, and no one can shake us. And in economy also, in education, it is growing at a fast pace. All this is because of the freedom and the constitutional rights what we got. And this day is dedicated to such a freedom, the constitutional freedom what we have received from our freedom fighters, netas of the past. According to the words of our chief guest, he said, who are the minorities? Only the netas are the minorities. Don't listen to them. This is what he said. Very, very good words. And they are not really the builders of our nation. You are the builders of the nation. And we are not minorities. We are the force of this, the power of this land. So with these few words, once again, I congratulate each one of you on this wonderful day, 69th Republic Day of India. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Friends, you would have noted how the presidential address blended seamlessly into the chief guest's address, even as our Honorable Vice Chancellor, speaking as always from the heart, added new dimensions of history and ethics to our understanding of the significance of our Republic Day. My friends in the audience would also note a similarity in the arrangement of the program. After every major speech, we have a song. And I think that is to allow us a little bit of time to reflect on the spirit of the speech and also the spirit of the song. The students of the Department of Physical Education, once again with us, with their mellifluous voices.
जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, खो रहा चैनो अमन, खो रहा चैनो अमन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, सरपरोशी की शमा दिल में जला लो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, खो रहा चैनो अमन, खो रहा चैनो अमन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, सरपरोशी की शमा दिल में जला लो यारो यारो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो। एक तरफ प्यार है, चाहत है, वफादारी है, एक तरफ देश में एक तरफ देश में धोखा है, गद्दारी है, बस्तियां सहमी हुई, सहम चमन सारा है, गम में क्यों डूबा हुआ आज सब नजारा है, आग पानी की जगह अब्र जो बरसाएंगे, लहलहाते हुए सब खेत जुलस जाएंगे जाएंगे जाएंगे, खो रहा चैनो अमन, खो रहा चैनो अमन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, सरपरोशी की शमा दिल में जला लो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, खो रहा चैनो अमन, खो रहा चैनो अमन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, मुश्किलों में है वतन, सरपरोशी की शमा दिल में जला लो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो यारो, जिंदगी मौत ना बन जाए संभालो